Anyway, I signed on and I don't exist yet, and we get paid this week. So there's that. It kind of goes along with me just not being on the schedule. She met me with absolute meanness and contempt. She was more upset with me sending an email out versus calling, which that. And I did use profanity in this email. I'm going to share what I wrote. It's not even funny. I saw her yesterday briefly. I just wish that one of these hospitals would call me up. I would quit there so fast, you don't even know. And this whole time I've been thinking, I'll give 2 days. Initially, I was freaked out about going on CART 4 and 5 after a shitty training, then to be thrown in the deep end first. But that's the least of the issues. I was told that we can download UKG for pay funds, yet that didn't work for me as my hours are not available yet. Okay? So I was upset about getting on carts 4 and 5. She was more like, I do a rotation so everybody has a turn, and you just happen to start in that rotation on cart 4 and 5. So it's more on the rotation than the priority of the residents getting their medication accurately at the right time with all the rights. Just like half the assisted living facility, more than half, almost all of them, want new med techs to be a CNA on the floor first. Even if they're trained to be a med tech, they want them to be on the floor first for a reason. So you get to know the patients, the little idiosyncrasies. You see the face, the name, the room, the stuff they needed. You go there first, and then you take the position of being the med tech. I know, I always wonder, I don't need to, whatever, but there's a reason, and they all do that. They all do that at home. Maybe not Florida, I'm not sure. I will be writing her a heavily worded letter. So she said, I put everybody on a circulation, and I put you where I needed you. That's why you're on cart 4, 5, the hardest ones ever, right out of shitty training. So she emphasized on the rotation of the med techs, and that's why I was on that cart first. And she emphasized me saying shitty training. She took it personally, which made me go, oh. I did say I'm sorry for putting the word shitty in there. Sorry, I said shitty. But you know things are tough. I saw you yesterday. She also said, I asked you, remember, this is what gets me when people pretend like they asked you certain things and then you didn't follow through with what they what they thought that they asked you. No. Her words, I asked you to check in with me after every shift so we can see how you're doing, and you didn't do that. I didn't hear it. No. I stood up. Actually, no. You said a few days, a week. Some people have up to 2 weeks. We'll see how it's going. I wasn't even on the schedule yesterday. How would I know that all of a sudden I'm going to be on the schedule on cart 4 to 5? You don't go from not being on the schedule, me showing up, to on the schedule. Of course I can see. And the training was shitty. Period. I don't care how good someone is. I worked with whole ass near NPs at my last hospital. They got hired on as RN. Everybody got training. Period. You walk before you run. Simple. It's not about, this is where I need you. So that's going to be talked about. And then when she thinks she's stumped, it's, we'll talk to this person here. That's out of my avenue. So she's going to be getting a heavily written letter. And then, well, you can take an Uber. You know that I live across the bridge. Why? You know that there's a huge money. We just talked about that. I just found out that as a whole ass older med tech, I make 40 cents more than a gal that just graduated high school and got her medication assistant online, where you spend a few hours for the certificate online, and now she's a Floridian MedTech. I couldn't video, but last Friday, that was a whole shit show. At the end of the shift, last Friday, there's a lot of, we can always tell, you can always tell the quality of the facility that we're working in by how often they have agency come in, okay? How frequent the turnover is. So there's agency everywhere. A lot of times, and sometimes that is just the core of the hospital, and agency people get paid. So there's that in. But as far as the, I'm not in hospital anymore, the assisted living facility, okay, so this one has agency a lot. They also have a bunch of brand new hires, me being one of them. At the end of my shift on Friday, which was my second day on the floor, I hadn't touched a cart at all. I had done CNA care. It's okay. It's all right. More housekeeping, right? Showers and laundry. It took me back to, gosh, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago when I, by myself, before I even knew about medication aid, took care of a 3-level assisted living facility building in the evening time. I would bring my daughter too, and we'd have walkie-talkies. I think I worked the same shift, 3 to 11. I took care of all of it together. And I did the CNA, put them to bed, remove their compression stockings, bring them back from dinner, bring them to dinner. If they needed help, bring them back from dinner. That was with help of the aides that were leaving at that early shift, so not too much of that. Play games with them in the evening. That was always fun. My daughter was there. She was a little girl, so it must have been even longer ago, maybe 15 years ago. Did insulin shots. That was back when we had to write the medications down in the MAR. That's before I even knew about shit, really. But you write it down in this big Bible-looking book. You guys know, those who know, write it down, and you keep up with it that way. And when it was time to give out the meds, I would go to the main cart, because we didn't pull the cart around the building and up and down the elevator. There was one cart down in the nurses area, or the aides, whatever it was called, and I would pull the meds still in their said container, but I would pull them and put them in my basket, and I would do one floor at a time. Okay, and there were anywhere from, I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there because this was a freaking long time ago. It was 2025. My daughter was she was running around there about 7 or 8 or 9. She wasn't double digits yet. She was young. And I did that a few times, and the supervisor was like, okay, you can bring your daughter, but not so often, and maybe not during this time or that time. So I remember that. And there was a place for her to do her homework, watch TV, because some of these assisted living facilities, they're like homes, right? They are homes. They're their homes, and the ones that are nice are nice. It wasn't a skilled nursing. It was just plenty of places where it was fine. And a walkie-talkie. She had a great time. And then I was out of there. I think it was 2 to 10 or something, and it was just a couple times a week. It was great. And that way she could be with mommy, right? Okay, so we would carry in our baskets the meds for that floor. And in these facilities, there's independent living. They do their own meds. Then there's assisted, where they need a little help. There's not full-on skilled, but sometimes the facilities dance the edge because of the payer. If they're getting paid, then they will take some of these, not too many, but they'll take some of these that probably should darn sure be in the skilled nursing facility, because we're doing a little bit much for them. So anywhere from 2 to 12 meds per floor, and that's that, right? Deliver those, little chatty, out the door. Insulin before the meals, they come down in the office, out the door. And I did that, and that was back in the day before MedTech, and then off doing whatever I was doing for years. And back now, and then MedTech again not too long ago, pre-pandemic time. Now I'm back in it, and it reminds me of, we also had to clean the place and dust the hallway railings down. I remember that too. It just depends. So this place I'm in now, I'm giving showers like Day 1 of my training outside of the Relias. Day 1 was Thursday. Day 2 was Friday. I had Saturday and Sunday off. I did Instacart and DoorDash. And Monday was day 3 and the final day of my training. And Tuesday today, I was going to go right onto the cart. First of all, I wasn't on the schedule. I showed up because I was supposed to be on the schedule. Then I wasn't on the schedule. She apologized, and it would be going on Yesterday was day 3 of my training, but it was the actual first day of my training on the cart where I got the keys. I got my sign-in code. Oh my gosh, this woman, I just got my sign-in code. I am writing her a heavily worded email. I just got my sign-in code yesterday. What are you talking about? You know what? She owes me an apology. I apologize to her. She owes me an apology. And I think all because I used that profanity there. That was bad. Did I finish reading that? I'm all over because I'm shaking. I've had a tumultuous morning. This is insane. Initially I was freaked out about going on cart 4 or 5 after a shitty training, then to be thrown in the deep end first. But that's the least of the issues. I was told that we can download UKG to pay funds. UKG for pay funds. I couldn't think of what it's called for our, I kept thinking tuition, but your pay funds, when you get paid, your paycheck, those funds. There's UKG, download it for pay funds. Yet that didn't work for me. I did that this morning as my hours are not available yet. So last week, not available. Also, the car had to be turned in today, and a glitch in the system prevents another rental. So looks like I'm hanging at home today while they figure it out. Hopefully will only be the better part of this day. Such fun times. In summary, have tech on stance for today. Q. Now, that was the best I could have done at the time, but it wasn't nice. It wasn't kiss-assy. It wasn't kiss-assy. And I said shitty training. I was mad as hell. I'm still mad. And so, and then I thought about hitting send. And I thought, you know what? She's not going to fire me too, because she's just got some big thief that she's talking with today that she's not firing. A full-on thief. Oh, and she's got someone that she on Friday night, I worked with an aide. I hate that word aide. It rhymes with maid, but I know why people say it because it's easier to say than the CNA. I worked with an agency CNA. She was on the memory care floor while I was on the other floors floating around. And apparently this young woman, middle-aged woman that's been there several times, knows all the patients. She left more than one, not patients, she left more than one resident completely clothed, put in bed with their shoes on, and they were soaking wet when knock shift came on to relieve. Okay? That is bad. Furthermore, when the head nurse, the one that just called me, responded to my email and called me, the one that prompted me to open this camera, called her and said, hey, did you leave so-and-so wet? Did you put them to bed with their clothes on and in bed with their shoes on? The CNA said, I only did that because the nurse said it's okay. The nurse that gave her a ride home that night, I found out the nurse that I've been bonding with, sweet nurse, the nurse that I did a video with, and I will post that too. I don't know how to do that. I wish I could up there. That'll be posted too. We did a video yesterday, a little sit down, still just between us at the facility. No identifiers though, and that was fun. So she lied on that nurse, and she lied on another coworker. She lied on everybody there except for me, because I was brand new, and one, she didn't know my name, and I was extremely new, and that would have just not made any sense on her. Like, how are you going to listen to something she says? So she said that this person said to do it, this person said to do it, and this person said they always do it. And that person was found soaking. They already had the tears on the butt from the skin being deeply, oh boy, yeah. So, not fired, but I need you to come talk to me before we put you back on the schedule, please, to see what's up, okay? Because not only did you do that, but you lied on 15,000 people. So, I sent this email knowing, hold on, we got a problem. We got a whole problem, because now I'm working with thieves and liars. A lot of them. Not just isolated, but a lot. So this, oh gosh, this doesn't even matter. This was an middle-aged, non-ethnic person. Okay. I don't want to be racist or whatever. Shocking. And we winded down the last 20 minutes together, and she got a ride home from the nurse. That was freaking weird. So yeah, I sent that email, and I put the word shitty in there because the training was shitty. At the same time, like I told her, I'm not going to go running off to her office complaining and throwing people under the bucket. But you don't just take some responsibility on a crazy cart without you checking in. Hey, how are you feeling? What's going on? Act like you care. Not, that's where I need you, so I'm just going to put you